Hi everyone, welcome back to English Hero, and right now in this video we're going to discuss another classifications of nouns. And what we have here on the board, we have the interrogative pronouns and the relative pronouns. Now let's discuss first what are interrogative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns basically from the word interrogate, which means you need to ask questions using these words here in the box. So what we have here, like who, what, which, why, how, where, whose, when, and to whom. Okay, these are the common words that we use in asking questions. Let's talk about who. When do we use who? Anyone who has an idea? Very good. You use who when you ask about a person, or when you ask about like the name of a person. So for example, who is your teacher? Or who is your favorite actor or actress? Okay? Next we have what. You use what basically if you're asking for general information. For example, what is your favorite subject? Or what is your name? Okay? So if it deals or if it denotes general or general information, you have to use what. Okay? Which, you use which if you are trying to ask one specific answer. For example, if you're asking for, if you're giving two options, for example, which one do you like more? Or which dessert do you like more? Or which dessert do you prefer too? Is it the ice cream or salad, fruit salad? So you are giving two options, and then you want to know a specific answer, one specific answer. So that's why you use which one do you like? Salad or cake as your dessert. Okay? So it's wrong to ask using what if you are giving two options. For example, what dessert do you like? Salad or cake? Okay? I'm not saying it's wrong, but the more appropriate way of asking is the use of which if you are giving two options or choices. Okay? Don't forget about that. Now, next is why. You use why when you ask questions or when you ask for clarifications or explanations about something. Okay? For example, why do you like that actor? For me, I don't like him. But why do you like her? Okay? So you're asking for explanation, or you want to know more about what's the reason behind. Okay? So basically why if you're asking for reasons or explanation. Next, how. You use how if you want to know the procedures or if you want to know in what manner. For example, how did you know that I graduated from this school? So you want to know in what manner, in what way did you know that I graduated from that school? Or I could ask like, how to cook or how do you cook this menu? Or how do you cook this, or how do you bake a cake? Okay? Next, where. Where, of course, it denotes a place. So if you want to know the place, so you can ask, where did you go yesterday? So you use where. Next, whose. Whose, always remember, like what we discussed before in my previous video, whose, it denotes ownership. So you might want to ask, like, whose ball pen is that? Because I want to borrow that ball pen, or I want to borrow that pen. Whose pen is that? So you use whose if it denotes ownership. When, of course, if it denotes a certain time or a date or a day. So anyone who can give me his or her own example as to how to use when? Very good. So you can ask, when is your birthday? My birthday. So You can answer my birthday is September, or is on September 9 something. Okay? Next, to whom? So this one actually, this denotes who's the receiver of the action. Okay? For example, to whom did you give that gift? To whom did you send the letter? Okay? So it also talks about a person, but it is more of it denotes a person who receives the action. Okay? Next, we have the relative pronouns. Now, relative pronouns, if you can notice the words also in the box under relative pronouns, there are similar, okay? Similar words. So we have who, we also have when, where, which, okay? So what are relative pronouns? How do they differ to interrogative pronouns? Okay? Let's talk about that. So relative pronouns, let's read. They introduce a clause qualifying an expressed or implied antecedent. Now, what does antecedent mean? Antecedent means it's the preceding clause. It's the one being introduced by another clause. So let's have an example here. Oh, before we go to a certain sample sentence, let's read first the relative pronouns inside the box. We have that, which, whose, when, where, who, whom, whatever, whenever, wherever, whichever, whoever, whomever. Okay? So as you notice, there are whatever. These are actually examples of compound relative pronouns. Now later on we will tackle that one. First, let's have an example here. Oh, my pen is not working. So we have Altessa is a student whose house is big. Okay, I hope you can see it clearly. Okay, so we have here example sentence. Altessa is a student whose house is big. So we have here Altessa is a student. Now, anyone who can give me the relative pronoun? Okay, very good. So we have whose. Whose here is an example of relative pronoun because it okay, the clue there is it introduces the antecedent student, or this one, this clause. So Altessa is a student whose house is big. Whose here refers to Altessa, the subject in the sentence. Okay? So basically relative pronouns, it differs to interrogative pronouns in a way that it only introduces. It doesn't ask, or it is not used to ask a question or questions, to ask questions. Okay? So you have there. So that's all for today in this video. I hope you've learned something. Please do study in advance about distributive pronouns and other classifications of pronouns that we're going to discuss in my next video. Okay, so there you have it. So we have already discussed some classifications of pronouns in my previous video. We're finished with personal pronouns, compound personal pronouns, interrogative pronouns, relative pronouns, so on and so forth. Indefinite pronouns, I forgot. Okay, Yeah, so those are the classification of pronouns that I have discussed already. So please do study in advance for the rest of the classification of pronouns that I'm going to discuss in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day and you take care. Bye-bye.